So we got a brief idea about lists in our sequence type data type in a previous video, but let's understand lists in depth in this video. So what exactly is a list in Python? Simply put, a list is an ordered collection of items that can store multiple values in a single variable. Lists are incredibly flexible because they can hold different data types like numbers, strings, even other lists. For example, let's say I have a list, so I'm gonna name this variable called mylist. Then here what I can do is in square brackets I can write 10, which is an integer. Then I can have a string called hello. Then let's say I can have a floating number like 3.14 and a boolean as well like true. And now if I write the print statement and provide the mylist list and run the code, you will see it prints my list. Here my list contains an integer which is 10, a string which is hello, a floating point number which is 3.14 and a boolean which is true. Python doesn't restrict us to one data type per list, unlike the other programming languages like C or others. That's the beauty of it. These lists have some characteristics, like lists are ordered. The order in which we define elements is preserved. Lists are mutable, so we can change, add, or remove items anytime. Lists allow duplicates. Unlike sets, lists can have repetitive values. So let's understand what do I mean by that. So for example, let's say I have another list called fruits, and there I can have a list of some fruits. For example, I have apple, then let's say banana, then cherry, and then apple again. Now if I print fruits and run the code, you will see it prints the fruits, and it printed as we defined. So as I told before that lists are ordered, so in which order we define, it prints in that order. So the order is preserved, and there is a set data type in Python where we can't use duplicate values, but as you can see in lists we can use duplicate values. Like you can see we have apple 2 times in the fruits list, and creating a list is always super simple. You just have to write a variable name and then you give square brackets and put some values like this. For example, we have a numbers list, then we can have words list which may contain some strings like Python, then JS, then C. We can have mixed list like the previous one. As you can see, we can write mixed list. Now here we can put values of different data type like 1, then Python, then 3.14. You can even create an empty list like this. For example, let's name this variable called sum underscore list. And if you just put the square bracket and don't give any value, then it will called an empty list. So if I write the print statement and pass this sum list, and if I run the code, you will see it prints just the square brackets. That means it's an empty list. Now let's understand how to access list elements. For example, we have another list called colors, which holds some values like red, then green, then let's say blue and yellow. Now lists have some property called as index, and that is expressed via the position -1. So for example, this red is in the first position, so it will have the index 0. This green is in the second position, so it will have the index 1. This blue is in the third position, so it will have the index 2. So ultimately index is equal position -1. So for example, if I write the print statement And if I write colors, then if in the square brackets, if I put 0 and run the code, you can see it prints red. Again, if I write the print statement and if I write the colors list and in between square brackets, if I put 2, then it will print blue, as blue has the index 2 because it is in the third position, and we know index equal position minus 1. But what is the interesting thing here is we can access values using the negative index as well. So for example, if I write the print statement and again if I write the colors list and in between square brackets, if I write -1 and run the code, you can see it prints yellow. So negative indexing starts from the end. So it is the first element at the end. For example, this one holds the index -1, this one holds -2, and this one holds -3, and this one holds -4. So for example, if I write the print statement again, and if I write the colors list, and if in between square brackets I pass -3 and run the code, you will see it prints green. Now let's understand list slicing in Python. So we have a list slicing. So slicing allows us to extract parts of a list. It's done using start, colon, and indices. For example, let's say we have a list called numbers 2, and let's say there we have values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. So now if I write the print statement, and here if I write numbers 2 list, then in between square brackets if I pass 1, colon, 4, then what it will do is it will take 20, then it will take 30, and this will take 40 as well because this has the index 3. Keep in mind that if you put here 4, it will take the values to index 3. So if you take here 6, then it will take values to index 5. So always keep in mind that which value you need, you put an index ahead. So what do I mean by that? Let's see the output now. If I give here 4 and run the code, you will see it prints 20, 30, and 40. Now here this means take the value of index 1 and the next values until the value of index 4. So in index 4 we have 50, but we don't want that. We want the values before index 4. So if I write here 5, now fifth index value is 60, but we don't want 60, we want the value before the fifth index value. That means we want 20, 30, 40, and 50. If I run the code, you will see it prints 20, 30, 40, and 50. Now here you will see another magic. If I write here print, and let's say I pass the numbers to list again, and in between square brackets, if I write the colon and write 3 here, so it will put 0 here automatically. We don't have to write that. Python will consider that he has to start from 0th index. So if I run the code, you will see it starts from 0th index value, then it goes to 1th index value, and it goes to 2nd index value. So as we have 3 here, Python only get the values which are before of that index value. And if I write the print statement again and pass the numbers to list again, and in between square brackets if I pass 3 colon empty, what it will do is it will start from the 3rd index and it will print all the values from that index to the end. So if I run the code, you can see it started from the 3rd index, which is this 40, then it printed 50 as well as 60 till the end. Though we had looked the difference between list and tuples in our sequence type data type video, let's recall that again. So keep in mind that lists are mutable, tuples are not. So for example, I have a list with the variable name mylist2, which holds values like 1, 2, 3, and then let's say I have a tuple which is my tuple 2, and that also holds a value 1, 2 and 3, but the key difference here is we can change the list by the index. So what I can do is I can write my list 2, then in between square brackets I can pass 0 to target the 0th index value, and then I can assign 10 here. So now if I write the print statement and pass my list 2 and run the code, you will see it becomes 10, 2 and 3 instead of 1, 2, 3. But we can do that with tuples. So for example, if I write here my underscore tuple 2 and try to target the 0th index value, which is 1, by the index 0, and try to assign a 10, then you can see it already indicates warning here with the yellow underline. So if I write the print statement and if I pass my tuple 2 and run the code, you will face an error. As you can see, Python throws this error, and the error is tuple object does not support item assignment. So I hope you understood how lists work in Python. So let me clear this example to remove the error. So that's all for now. See you in the next one.